So hello, everybody. I'm Suzanne McCall, and this is the Selfworth Talks. And I like to have people on this show who basically have made their life mission to work with other people to help them with their belief in themselves, their self-worth, and their feeling of living a purposeful life. So that's why I have really been happy to uh, invite and happy to let everybody know that I have my friend and colleague, Naomi Rafalowicz, who is a life coach, but it's not just a life coach. What do you call yourself exactly? What kind of a coach?
Well, I
I know
call
that's a good
myself,
question.
I know that's a great question, a great way to start. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Naomi
Ah,
Rafalowicz.
welcome.
Um, Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Suzanne, you're so great. Okay, had to say that. I consider myself a professional coach, a life purpose and self-discovery coach. Those are my passions. I'm a life coach, which brings its own meaning that we can talk about if we want. But my true area of passion is helping people rediscover who they are and then connect that to their life purpose to just take off from there.
I
Yeah.
love that. And full disclosure, transparency, I have worked with Naomi and she's helped me with this whole process. So I really I'm not just kind of talking about her in terms of what she says she does. I know that what she's done does has helped me a lot. So that's why I feel so excited to have you here today.
Thank
Um,
you.
so I like to have people talk about what they do, but before that, can you tell us a little bit about your story? Like, how did you get to be doing what you're doing?
Yeah. How did I get here? Right? That's always the question. Um, I think I was always drawn to this kind of work, but I had no idea what this work was. And I had no idea it was a profession. The thing that I was always drawn to was helping people without telling them what to do. So my previous career, I was a special ed teacher for 35 years. I went to college during sort of the age of you got to pick a lane, like pick a major. And I fell into special education, which I really adored. I did it for that full 35 years in public school. And part of my job was to be an expert, right? I had to be the expert in the area where the student needed a different kind of way to learn. But another part of my job, which I have to say, part of my story is the mentors that I had in undergraduate and in graduate school and in my family. I can get to that too. They really put this idea into my head that I don't have the answers for other people when it comes to certain ways of doing things.
Hmm.
Back when I was teaching, my mentors, I had amazing mentors at University of Connecticut and Southern Connecticut. I'm a Connecticut girl. And they always said, you're the expert about some things, but you're not an expert of this child. Like the
Hmm.
family they're the experts. So you need to really pull out from them the best ways to support the child. That's what life coaching is, right?
Hmm.
So I had that background, and in my family too. I mean, my father was always he was a little bit, he loved to tell me what to do, but he also loved to say, you can't tell people what to do, right? It's a little bit. I
Yeah,
mean,
okay.
fathers will do that with their daughters. So
Yeah.
I think it was just part of my experience and who I am to really listen a lot, listen for the important things, and then jump in when it's the right time, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, after my career, not after my career, probably 15 years before my career ended, I worked with a life coach. I didn't even know what it was going to be like. And as soon as I did that, I mean, I remember thinking, I want to do what you're doing. That's my next chapter. So,
How did you decide at that time to work with a life coach?
oh, well, that was interesting. I, um, it was actually a friend of mine. She called me one day and she said, a good friend of mine still, she called me and she said, I know this woman who's a life coach. I think it's the thing you keep talking about doing. I think this is the thing and you should work with her. And I was a little
Oh,
like, what? I don't, what, what?
yeah.
And she said, I'm telling you, and this is somebody I trusted. She said, just work with her because I think it's going to help some areas that you're stuck in. At that point, it was 20 years ago. I moved to my home in West Hartford, and I only moved a half hour from where I was, but all of my routines were broken. I wasn't doing the things I used to do. I wasn't moving into this transition very easily or well. And she said, talk to her about like why you feel uncomfortable in your new home. But she also just said, I think that what she does is the thing that you keep talking about, how you want to help people. And so anyway, I did.
Mm.
I called
Hmm.
her up. I just trusted the universe and my friend, and I had a conversation with her, and I signed up right there for 3 months. And she was my first coach.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Right? Like,
So it's that voice
listen
that's
when,
telling
yeah.
you for a long it's like
Right.
everything that until then led you to this.
Yeah.
All your mentors who were like
Mm-hmm.
emphasizing you're the expert, but you're not the expert of that person.
Right.
Which is like a therapy kind of thing too. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that, and then your father
Mm-hmm.
telling you that, and it was like
Mm-hmm.
meant to be that this is your next step.
Absolutely. And it was a point in my life when I worked with that coach. I was in one of those sort of cycles of noticing, paying attention to things that were happening around me. I mean, for sure, when I was younger, there were times that I can look back and think, oh my gosh, like all roads were pointing in a certain direction, and I just didn't pay attention. I didn't let my
Mm,
intuition shine through. And it
mm-hmm,
was a period in my life where I thought, you know what? If she's telling me about this and she knows me really well, and I was like, this is something to investigate. Just notice,
mm-hmm,
you know?
mm,
And that's one of the things that I love about being a coach, and I'm sure as a therapist and a friend and a person, whatever, but our intuition is always working. And sometimes, like, I've shut the door on it. Society has taught us, I mean, especially
yeah,
women,
yeah.
to shut the door on our intuition. And at that point, I was definitely open to thinking, okay, just check it out. There's no harm in it. Like it's knocking on my door, so
Yeah.
I
So
did.
how do you think, who do you recommend should get this kind of coaching, and how do people know if coaching would be good for them? You said your friend
Mm,
suggested it and it was like intuition told you, but how do people know if
right,
exactly,
right.
when they should get a coach, have a coach?
It's such a great question because the general population is not quite sure what coaches do
Yeah.
because we all do things a little bit differently. So in my thoughts are around the person who knows they want more. In my case, especially connecting and working with me or I've lost kind of who I am. I remember all these roles. So it's that feeling of like, something's not quite right. It's not therapy that I want. I want to talk to somebody professionally. I don't want somebody telling me what to do. So that excludes everyone else we know, right? Everybody has a stake in the outcome of the people that are in relationship with us. We don't think
Mhm.
we do, but we do. Of course we do. When my friend says to me, like, oh my gosh, like I want to go to Florida in March, and I think, wait a minute, we're supposed to do something, right? We always have a stake in it. So the person who is just feeling like, I want support in this, I want accountability, I want you to draw out my own wisdom and best answers, I want you to help me remember who I am, and now I can go forward.
Mm.
I remember writing or hearing from my it probably came from my mentors that most people are paid like we pay people to tell us what to do. You pay me to ask you the questions
Oh, I
and
like
not tell
that.
you what to do. And so
Hmm.
it's like, because some people are like, okay, why do I talk to somebody who isn't going to tell me what to do? It's the woman that has the belief, like how you always say, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. That's a
Mm.
perfect client. And what do you want
Hmm.
to do with that? I know what to do, but I'm just not doing it. Well, maybe you don't it's the questioning, it's the inquiry. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a fourth choice you didn't even think about. Somebody who's committed to their own personal growth, like so many of us, somebody who values an impartial, professionally trained coach who is asking the right questions, asking you to make your own commitments, set your own homework up, do your own work, but I'm there, I can check in on you. Um, and really want to take a little bit of a dive in. It's not therapy. It's not about so if somebody comes to me and they have severe anxiety or depression, that's not my client. I am not a therapist. I am the
Mhm.
person.
Mhm.
Most of my clients have honestly already worked with a therapist or a social worker. And so they understand, like, if it's my emotional and mental health that's stuck, that's a completely different arena.
Mhm.
My arena is I just want support in getting it done, in getting clarity, in being aware. I can't tell you, I can't stop talking here because when I work with a client, I ask them questions and they say things, and I'm the mirror, right? Not just a mirror because I talk. And I might interrupt and say, I just want to repeat something back to you because I can pick up on the things, the big things, I think. And I'll
Mhm.
repeat something back. And as a client, they'll just, I see this.
Mhm.
Did I, did I say that? And I'll say
Yeah.
yes. And I'm only pointing it out because my intuition just told me to point it out. I have no connection to it.
Mhm.
Maybe it doesn't mean anything, and maybe it does.
Mhm.
I would say 80% of the time, the person will say, I can't believe I said that. I think I am having an aha moment.
I think that this holding space for people and letting us, anyone that comes to you, be able to process their feelings, their thoughts, and have somebody hear them, but not judge or not tell them what to
Mhm.
do and give them the time to let the
Right.
process happen. I don't think that we
Hmm.
trust that we can come up with answers. And so
Right.
I think it's great to have somebody, a coach, be able to, I don't
Hmm.
know, just kind of continue to give you that message, right?
Yeah.
That the answers are in there
Hmm.
and you're just asking the right questions.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a really safe, it's like you said, it's a very safe environment. I say to clients, even on a first discovery call, there's something different about this relationship. Yes, it's professional, but I honestly don't have a stake in the outcome. And they're
Hmm.
kind of like, what do you mean? And I say, well, of course, I have a stake in your happiness and your safety. But if you decide that what's absolutely best for you is to quit your job and move, to Alaska, I don't have a stake in that. I
Yeah.
do connect to the energy. So if I feel like, and of course I'm going to challenge and question. So I may challenge and question that to try to get the person to go underneath. Maybe I don't want to do that. But, and I think coaching and therapy, they're so complementary. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that from personal experience. I know that from client experience. They're so complementary, and there's a time and a place for both.
Hmm.
Um, Coaching
Yeah.
is about taking action, which is therapy too, but it's like we're gonna be in the present in this. And if a client does like really stay in the past, that's a moment where I may think about whether coaching is the right support for them or not. And we'll talk about that, right? I always want to be cognitive, but it's always about the present. And even in the first call, people will say, right, I can't believe, because I'll always ask, what's your greatest learning? What's your greatest awareness? What do you know now that you didn't know before? And I mean, 99% of the time, it's like, I can't believe how much I understand in literally 45 minutes to an hour. Like,
Wow.
wow.
Mm.
Because we don't have those people in our lives
Yeah.
that are not that are non-judgmental, that don't have a stake. And
Right.
it's really amazing. So
And it's, you're
you
not
can,
just like,
yeah,
they're
you
not
can
just
tell I love
talking.
it. I love
I
what
know,
I
I
do.
know. It's good that you have, this is your purpose. You said you help
Mhm.
people find their purpose, but obviously this is your purpose to be doing this because you have so much passion about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's definitely obvious. And it's just, I was going to say, you're not somebody that's just listening. You have the,
Right.
you have the training that, like you said, you pick up on what's the right question to help them look at things
Mhm.
in a different way. What do you think some of the difficulties are that people might have when it comes to letting that process happen? Why do you think it's hard? It's a hard question, but
Well, I can think about myself first, right? When I first worked with a coach, there's the vulnerability, right? Do I really want to go there and think about this? So, that's part of it. And also, do you mean like, like what would hold somebody back from working with a coach?
well, not from working, but from making progress
Oh, from making progress.
when they're
Yeah.
working with someone.
Mm-hmm. Well, if, when they're, once in a blue moon, I'll work with somebody. I'm thinking of a couple times maybe that people were not following through on their own homework that they assigned themselves. They weren't making progress. They were really stuck. And I feel like it was it was either a deep-rooted limiting belief that still needed to be surfaced and released. It was a very deep belief uh, in them not having their own best answers. Again,
Mhm. Yeah,
not so much the role of the coach. Definitely those kinds of things happen. Sometime once in a blue moon, I ask a lot of intake questions. I think sometimes there's trauma that has occurred and people are not aware of the hold that still may be upon them. And so coaching may not be the best helping profession
yeah,
at that
yeah.
time too.
Okay, so if
So
there's too
that's why,
much, if
yeah.
there's too much interfering, I remember just, it's when you're talking, I'm thinking about my experience in working with you. And one of the things that I was just thinking of is that you get really in touch with what those beliefs are. Like
Hmm.
I remember hearing myself say something to you thinking as if it's like the truth that this is never going to be anything different and there's just no point trying. Basically, that's kind of how it felt. And
Hmm.
just by sharing that and saying something like that, it made me observe it in a different way. Oh, there's Mona.
I
um,
know.
but I think, you have to be as the client, you have to be able to be vulnerable, like you said, and listen and just have the ability to say, well, maybe this isn't real. Maybe this isn't the truth. Maybe this is just a belief. And that's where you come in as the coach.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on both sides of that coin, and also obviously you have to have trust in your coach, your therapist. And so, I'm trained to listen to the for those statements like you are. And again, if I am truly in that non-judgmental space and I hear something, so when I'm working with a client, I write a lot. And that's my way of making sure that I am catching everything that I want to catch. So, I have a pen and I have a highlighter. And when I pick up the highlighter, like my clients actually sort of know now if it's longer term, they're like, I don't have to say anything. They're like, wait, what did I just say? But it's having that mirror back, like, and me honestly saying something like, can I interrupt you for a minute? What would it be like if that wasn't true? Or let me interrupt for a minute. Do you believe that this is absolutely not ever going to happen? And I'll always say, like whatever answer you have is fine. So if you say, no, it's never going to happen, that's acceptable to me,
Hmm,
right?
hmm. Yeah.
Um, the work, the coaching session, right, is the giant awareness, like, holy smokes, wow, did I learn stuff about myself? The real work happens in between session,
Oh,
right? It's the
that's
client, and
interesting. Yeah.
that's another piece when you said, who are the people that want to come? You know, you can't just come to a session and close your notebook and not think about it for 2 weeks. The great, you know, a great ideal client is somebody who has, I'm not saying, yeah, I'm going to spend 2 hours a day thinking about this deeply, but I'm going to be aware every day over these 2 weeks in between sessions
Yeah.
of what I want to notice, what I want to think about, what I want to try out. And Naomi help me do that, you know? So we set up the support and accountability to do that, right?
Yeah, that's important. That's really, and that's not easy because we're so used to this doing things and looking at everything in the same way. That's why I think it's so good to have a coach who will help
Mm-hmm.
you to sort of accountability and stay on track.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Most of the time, so when once somebody makes the commitment to work together, that's like 80% of their accountability. I've decided to do this. I'm going to show up for my appointments.
And that gets them going.
I am paying money to do this. There's a value in this. So it does get them going. And I
Yeah.
always say to people, I am going to be 100%. This was a really huge learning in my coach training. Our trainers, who I love so much, I did my training at Coach for Life Institute, which had been around for about 27, 28 years. And almost the very first thing when we walked in the door, they said, we are going to take 100% responsibility for ourselves, and we are going to ask you to take 100% responsibility for yourselves. We are not going to take responsibility for others in this group. And
Ah.
we all were kind of like, okay, yeah, like we know that. But then actually putting it into action. Like if I am upset, instead of my group coming in to rescue me, are you upset? Are you upset? Do you need a tissue? It became me taking 100% responsibility and saying, this is hard for me. And that was a real light bulb moment. And so I say that to my clients, I take 100% responsibility for myself. I ask that you take 100% to the best you can. Nobody's perfect, right? And some people, when you said what holds them back from working with me, if people are really still in a place of being a victim and feeling those victim thoughts and feelings, it's not the right time to work with a coach. It might be the right time to work with someone else or not
Mm.
work with anybody at all. But when people come to me, like they know they're ready. They're
They're
like,
ready. They're ready.
I'm ready. When can
Yeah.
we start? I want to know
Yeah.
who I am. Hmm.
So you do a lot of one-on-one work, but what you just said made me think about the fact that I know you do some groups, you do workshops, and you have a retreats that you're just getting started to be doing. What do you think the power is with a retreat and, working together in a situation?
Oh my gosh. I'm very excited about this first retreat. It's been in the back of my mind for years. And what I always loved about the thought of a retreat is the community and like I hold space on a Zoom, right? For an hour. And going somewhere, a participant can go somewhere where we are taking care of you. We are like me and my other retreat partners are there to nurture and just like help you and take care of you and give you all these opportunities to
Mm.
take 100% responsibility for yourself and participate really at whatever level you want. But we're going to make it fun too. It's not going to be heavy work, but it's going to be like, okay, I want to leave here knowing something more, and I'm going to take care of you. The energy of the group is unbelievable. I have done some group coaching, and I have not, I did before COVID. The energy of the group is amazing. Being in a room with women who are honestly like supporting each other. There is no competition. There's no comparison because we've
Yeah.
just set things up that way. And the energy that you feel and you get from all those other people, including the three of us who are facilitating, it's huge. Where do we get that? Where can I go to get that kind of, I have to create those situations, and this is an easy way to get it.
It
So I'm really
is.
excited. Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
excited about it.
So this
Mhm.
retreat that you have, which it sounds really powerful, I'm coming. So I'm excited, but it's in, what is the date? What's the
March
date?
20, March 23rd to March 24th. It's a Saturday to a Sunday.
Okay.
We're holding it in Madison, Connecticut. It's at the place that we're holding it is called the Shoreline Center for Resilience. It's a 10-room beach house. It's a 100-year-old beach house, so it's cozy. It's across the beach is across the street, and yeah, it's going to be really, I think, a very like nurturing,
Yeah.
eye-opening, like rejuvenating kind of weekend
Yeah, where people can
for
really
like
kind of dive
self
in.
insight. Yeah, for our souls.
Self-discovery is what it's all about, right?
Yeah,
Returning to
yeah.
self. Yeah,
It's
I
returning to self.
sounds
And I've
beautiful.
invited, my two of my like oldest, dearest friends to support me in this because I also know for me, I don't want to do it alone. I'm not that person. I want that community. So, my good friend Cheryl Pacina, who is a certified Kripalu yoga teacher, is going to be doing movement with us and yoga and
Mm-hmm.
integrating, the things that we're doing. And my other friend Gail Tracy is going to lead us in some meditation. She's been leading meditation for more than 25 years, probably 30 or more, and do some energy work with us. So we get all these modalities, right?
Yeah,
Um,
that's beautiful.
I want
Sounds
it to be fun.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And like, if anybody's watching this, after after the date of that retreat, I'm sure there's more. So anybody that misses this one, and I know this one's
Yeah.
already half full, so people should get in
Yeah.
there and sign up. And you'll probably be doing more, I am sure,
Oh,
after this. But
absolutely.
people should sign
Yeah.
up for this one if they want, because it sounds really special. So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Thanks.
And is there anything else that you would want people to take away when it comes to the idea of returning to self and self-discovery and coaching? Any like last words of wisdom or advice that you want to leave us with?
Just that it's, every day I think there are doubts that creep in, and just being able to remember and remind yourself that you really do have we all have this innate wisdom within us, but sometimes it gets all clouded over, and it's really okay to ask for support there,
Mm,
whomever that is, friends, family, coaches, anybody, and to just take the time to reconnect. I was just writing a few days ago about investment because I had an appointment with my financial advisor, and I thought that word investment, you know, there is some investment that needs to be done. We need to invest in ourselves, and we do that in many different ways. And just don't forget to give back to your own self so that you can come back to center.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, thank you for all your wisdom. And
Oh,
yeah, I'm excited. I know your retreat's going to be amazing. And
it's gonna be fun.
we'll have you come back again on the show at another time and tell us and give us more tips about, the whole finding yourself
Hmm.
and how to do
I'd love
that
to.
and the value. Yeah.
Yeah, I would
So
love to.
thank
Thank
you.
you, Suzanne.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
And everybody can find the information about getting in touch with Naomi to do one-on-one coaching or group programs or retreats in the show notes. And yeah, so
Great.
thank you for tuning in, and we will see you again next time. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.